guess.
Okay, so hi Liz, welcome to Bullfrog Hikes. It's a very
Hello.
obscure YouTube channel that gets a few views. I actually got a lot of views recently. I got like 1.5K views on one of my videos. So we're on the
That's a
come up.
lot, I feel like.
It is. I guess everyone wants to know how much money I spent on the trail.
But I feel like I should have kept track.
I didn't. I had to like do it after. Like I had to just go into
Yeah.
my card and like throw everything into a CSV file in Excel, and it was like a whole thing. But it only took like 2 hours, and then I just categorized everything like by like each, like food, hostels. But it's not like fully accurate, but it's like mostly correct. Like
Same.
10 grand, more than 10 grand.
Same. And now I'm stressed because I'm in school, and so I'm like,
Yeah, I actually did a poll on my Instagram where people said like, did they spend less than 10K or more? And I think most people spent more. And like a lot of them didn't want to answer, so I'm assuming they said no. Like I'm assuming they spent more than 10K. They just didn't want to say it, cause like,
I should check. But I feel like it's hard to say because, like, I hiked the PCT in 2019 and the CT in 2022. Well, 2022 was expensive.
yeah.
I kind of feel like I spent less on the AT because I did it faster and
And you're like a pro. You're like a pro now, cause you've done more hiking, so you like kind of know all this like little like hacks and stuff, and like whatever it may be, like just hiking more miles or like getting food from hiker boxes, I guess. There's like so many little things you can do. Some people are like really hiker trash when it comes to that. Like they'll like go and literally like get new shoes at the hiker box, like
oh, I
used.
did that. My
Yeah.
last pair.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, in Maine. Right after you take the ferry to get across the Kennebec to like I forget what it's called. There was like a hotel, like an inn there,
Mm-hmm.
um, like just off trail, and I went there and my shoes, like I should have got another pair of shoes, but I'm like, it's only 150 miles, like it's fine. But like the tread was definitely slippery. And then I looked in the hiker box, and there was the same exact shoe. Like I wore Lone Peak sixes, and I feel like they were on Lone Peak like 7 or 8 when we were on the trail. But I bought them like I was supposed to hike the AT like in 2023, and so I like bought 6 pairs of shoes, like or 5 or something, in preparation.
Okay. Oh,
And then ended
so
up
you already
buying
had like all your shoes basically for the whole trail before you even
yeah,
started?
I was rich in shoes.
Well,
But
so
then
that's by the way, that's what I'm saying. Like you save money. Like a lot of people don't do that. They just buy it as they go. So you already save money there because you learned from
oh,
other trails.
and one of my shoes, um, I bought from this girl, like Mountain Cat is her trail name, and she hikes. Oh, she's dating Hambone. I don't know if you know Hambone, but they're
I
like
don't think
AT
I've.
famous.
Oh,
um,
never heard of them.
he's done he's done the AT like a bunch of times, like I don't know how many times, a lot of times. But I bought a pair of her shoes. She was selling them on Instagram.
Oh, that's
She was
cool.
like, "Hey, I got these extra shoes, and they're like my size and like Lone Peak sixes." And I'm like, "Yeah, hell yeah!" So I had her shoes, and then I wore them, or I got them in Damascus, and then I wore them to trail days, and then I met her. Like I'd never met her in person, and then I met her at trail days, and I was like, "I'm wearing your shoes." Like, nice to meet you. And so that was that pair. But then in Maine, I was at the I forget what the inn was called, but I was there and there's a pair of Lone Peak sixes, size 7.5 in the hiker box. And I looked at them and then I'm like, tread seems better than mine. And so then I put my shoes in the hiker box. Probably should have put them in the trash.
Well,
And I took the shoes and I finished the trail with them.
that's awesome. That's like, oh man, I wish I could do that. The problem is like I have like size 14 W or something or like 15. So it was just hard to find any shoes at all like in a hiker box for me because I feel like there's not too many people that have that size. Like it's always maybe 13 max that I would find in there. Like that rack of shoes by the bathroom at Shaw's, like where everyone puts their. So like hippie chick, which she's like one of the co-owners of the hostel. She just like told my buddy, she's like, "Oh, you could take those," and like they were brand new shoes. And I think it's because a hiker had just left them from like 5 weeks ago, and they were just sitting there, and no one ever claimed them. So she's just like, "They're yours now." Like these, I've seen these shoes every day. Like no one's taken them. So like, yeah, I guess someone just left them there. But
Yeah, Matt slash Risky is my boyfriend, but he hiked in 2016, and then he met me for the 100 mile. But when he hiked in 2016, he was like a dirty bubble person. Like,
dirty bubble.
yeah, it's like the people that are like stragglers,
Okay.
um, and like kind of more hiker trashy.
But kind of like me at times, but I guess we all went through like parts of the trail where we were like that. But yeah.
Um, but he in 2016 they like went back to the trail and someone had like rum, and so we were drinking rum, and then they decided, oh, we better start hiking, so they started the 100 mile, and then well, he thought it was mud pond, but we found out when he met me like this summer that it's actually unnamed bog, but he fell into the bog and it sucked his shoe in
Oh God.
and off his foot, and he couldn't find it, and so he only had one shoe, and he was like, what do I do? I'm in the 100 mile, but he had like just entered the 100 mile, like, I don't know, a couple miles, and so then he called Shaw's back, and he's like, hey, I lost my shoe in the bog, and then they were like, oh, go to this trailhead and we'll pick you up. So they picked him up, and he went back to the hostel, and he's also like I think he's size 13 or 14, it depends.
Yeah.
And there was like a size 13 boot, like random pair of shoes on the porch. And he was like, sweet. And then
Oh, just one?
No, there's two. There's two.
Oh, there's two. Okay, yeah.
And so then he used these random boots to finish the trail because he lost one of his shoes in the bog.
Well, that's cool. I mean, he got real lucky, I guess, with finding that pair. Cause
Did you fall in any bogs?
Not really. No. Like I had a couple moments where like my foot maybe got like knee deep, but it wasn't any worse than that. Like I always kind of caught myself, or I'm gonna be okay. This is a small confession of mine that I'm not proud to admit, but I would sometimes like go around the bogs and like like how the trail would get really wide at times because everyone's like going around. I sometimes did that because I was like genuinely terrified of just like getting sucked in and like I don't know, getting totally soaked and dirty and gross and losing stuff.
I fell in one right before the New Hampshire Maine border. Like, before Mount Success, I think is what it's called. And there's like bog bridge, but I missed. Like, I thought I was stepping on the bridge, but I wasn't. And my foot went like through, and I like went up to my hip, and I'm like,
Whoa.
what if I got stuck? And so then I like got my foot out and kept going. But ever since now, then I'm scared, and I would like tap up and use my pole to like
Yeah.
check that it was wood before I fell in another bog. Then I'm like, what if I got stuck? I'm alone. Just
Yeah.
stuck in the bog until someone came to help me.
Yes. I mean, it's really like it's concerning because I mean, is it like swampy? Like, do you feel like you just get sucked in? Like when you start struggling more, it like keeps pulling you in, or you just have to like go slow, like slowly lift yourself out. Is there like a technique of getting out, or you just do your thing, like you just pull yourself out?
One foot was like on the wood, so I just like kind of used my hands and pushed up on the wood and got my foot out. But like if both feet were in.
So how deep? You were like hip deep?
1 foot, yeah. Just
Oh my God. That's Did it like smell bad? Because sometimes like there'll be like decomposed wood or something down there, and it smells like dead animals, or like I feel like there's like a scent to these bogs. Sometimes it's like
Yeah.
really foul.
It
Um,
wasn't good.
yeah. I mean, hey, if you can handle that, then you could probably do the Florida Trail because it can't be that much worse. I mean, well, you have gators like swimming around and like pythons maybe and leeches and parasites and other, and also what was the other thing? Cottonmouth snakes. They're like really terrifying. They like stick their head out and they're like they just like give you this look and it's creepy. But I don't know. Maybe it'll be fun. I still haven't like booked the trip yet, but I really do want to go. I feel like I'm gonna be by myself most of the time, so that'll be interesting. Cause not too many people hike this trail. Like even like most of them start in January, and it's not like only 60 people like have reported that they even completed the trail
Wow.
like last year I think. But the numbers are higher because like not everyone fills out that like the process. Like they don't go on the website and register their hike, so it's probably more, but still it's like a lot less than the AT. So yeah, that it kind of like That's like I'm kind of like freaked out about the CDT that it's also just like scarcely hiked and I'm gonna be like road walking by myself and just doing my own thing. Like the AT is just it feels so like secure because you just like there's always like other people and you can like there's like guaranteed that you can have fun if you just like go meet people. But on these other trails, like there's literally no one. It's just you and hopefully one or two other people that you hopefully like. I mean, it's not many to choose from, I guess.
Do you think you're gonna do the CDT?
I want to one day, yeah, but no, I think the PCT is first, just because it's like a bigger community, um, and honestly, just shorter. So hopefully faster, and
CDT was shorter for me, but that's because I took well, I didn't take all the shortcuts because I didn't do the big sky cutoff, which is like the ultimate shortcut. But the CDT was like 2480 and the PCT was like 26.
mm-hmm. So you're okay. So you're a triple crowner, Liz. Do you want to show your triple crown certificate that's hanging on the wall over there? You were showing it to me, but that thing is so cool. It's like wood. It's like
Yeah.
3D. Does it have like a trail? Like each of the trails,
Yeah,
like
they're
on
like
the map?
little, hard to see, but they're like little
Oh, okay.
PCT, CDT.
That's so cool.
It's made by like I don't know if it's a male or female. It's made by like a artist person. Wild Tendencies is the artist.
Nice. I'm jealous. That's a cool thing to have. I have my 2,000 miler patch, so that's kind of cool, I guess. But
CDT sent me a 3,000-mile patch, but that's a lie. 'Cause I didn't hike 3,000 miles. Also, I feel like the official route is like they say it's 3,100 miles, but I'm pretty sure it's like 2,900 miles.
yeah. Is it so like what is the maximum length 2,900 and then you did like 26 or something like that?
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, I was gonna ask you actually about the CDT. Like, were there's any like super dangerous parts of it with like glaciers where you like had to pull out your ice axe or anything wild like, or at least you have to have an ice axe like ready to go and stuff like that, or not really?
Depends if you're a Sobo or a Nobo.
Mm-hmm. So is no Sobo, I would assume, is less likely to have that.
Yeah. Um, we brought one in Glacier. We brought an ice axe in Glacier, but we needed it on like 2 passes, but just for like a tiny section. But then Nobo, like in the San Juans in Colorado, we did that with no snow, and it was scary with no snow. And I'm like, man, Nobos are crazy.
Oh, the snow's worse. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, if I'm scared now and there's no snow,
Oh,
how did the Nobos do it with snow,
okay, got it, got it. Yeah, I mean,
But also that section um is like I did the Creed cutoff,
hmm
um, and so that skips that section. Like I went back after I hiked the CT and I redid that section.
were people like kind of toxic about like, oh, you did the creek cutoff, so you like weren't a purist? Like, was it? Did people care or?
Um, Not in person, but on like far out, people were crazy, and on like Facebook, people were crazy. They were like, "You did the creek cutoff. You're not a through hiker," and but they were like, "This is the most beautiful part of the CDT," and I should pull it up.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
They were just they were crazy. I
I
downvoted them all.
I feel like while you're pulling that up, there was like a moment on the AT where, like by the Kennebec River, this one dude actually swam across it, and it was insane. But he used his like thermarest pad, and he inflated it and just like floated across with all of his gear strapped to the top of the pad. It was really crazy what he did, and he made it across.
I feel like
We were all just standing there watching him, and we're like is he gonna die? Like we didn't know what to do. Like we're like, should we watch this? Like this is like, what the fuck is he doing? You know what I mean? Because like
yeah,
that river is so dangerous because it can flood. The dam like floods the river randomly, and it can just, the water level can go way up, and also like the speed of the water and everything. So if he's in there when that happens, he's done. Like it's a really crazy river. So that guy was really dumb. But I got a video of him, so
that's
it's
crazy.
kind of hilarious. But yeah, I think he just like got to the point where he's like, I want to do something wild. Like I don't think it was even that he was a purist. He's just trying to like showboat and look cool in front of everyone. But yeah, it's kind of crazy to witness for sure.
I don't know. Maybe I'll find it later and send it to you.
The far out comments.
Yeah, but people were crazy.
Yeah,
But it
I'll.
was it was a great town though. Creed. It was like the ultimate hiker trash town.
hmm
'Cause, well, I don't know if they still do, but they let you camp in the. Oh, did you camp at the baseball place in the convent on the AT?
In the where?
There's like a nun convent place in New York.
No, I don't think so.
But there's a baseball field in Creed, that they let you camp in, and the like gear store has a shower, and the park has like charging. They're just asking you to loiter.
Yeah, that's kind of nice, I guess. But there were a few spots like that. I'm trying to remember the name of the town. It wasn't Gorham. It was definitely before Gorham. Um, I feel like there was this town with like a shelter where you can like
Mm.
take a shower, and it had like, it also had a hostel, Stanimals, I think.
Yes.
But there was like two Stanimals. So this was like the first one.
Yeah.
I forget
I
the name
wanted
of
to
that
go to
town.
the first one, but
It was
well,
full.
we went to
That
Stanimals, but we didn't go to the shelter.
Yeah, that place was a zoo. Like when I got there, I was like, I don't even want to stay here if even if they had something available because it was like so crowded, and yeah, I wasn't feeling the vibes in that town, honestly.
It was a weird town.
Yep,
Stuff
yep.
like that comes up the AT all the time. Also, the CDT towns and PCT towns are weird too, but in a
It,
good way. I feel like.
I feel like we have to address this. I just came into my mind, but a lot of towns are like destroyed right now. Like like Damascus Diner. You probably went there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
place got like totally flooded. Like I think I don't know if they're rebuilding it or whatever, but I'm pretty sure it got like totally ruined. Like they have to fix it, I guess, or replace it. I don't know. It's like really bad. What happened there with the floods and everything, and even like that bridge at Irwin, just totally
Yeah,
got ripped out and it's gone. Like
that's crazy.
that's wild. Like how did the river? How could it even go that high? Like I didn't. Like that's something you can't even like imagine. Like when I was there, at least it just didn't seem like that would be a thing, but it is. I mean that it was like an insane amount of water. So
This dude I know, um, that I met on the Arizona Trail, but he hiked Sobo and he like just finished like just after Thanksgiving. But I wonder what he did. I know he did some road walks, but I wonder what he did in that area.
yeah, especially like the Sobos must have had to quit or like skip things or whatever. Like and like I know of one of the flip floppers that I was friends with was like stuck in hot springs during this whole thing. And you know that that Civil War building, there's like a hostel where like they like during the Civil War it was like a neutral building. I think they used it as like a hospital even or whatever. Anyway, there's like a hostel there. I just can't remember the name of it, but that hostel is like above ground because it's kind of like on a hill. So that was like the one of the few places that didn't get flooded in hot springs. So hikers were like able to stay there and wait it out, kind of went like for the water levels to go down. And but yeah, I don't know. It's crazy because there was so much like blockage, like trees falling on the trail and shit. Like it's gonna take so long to clear it all out. But people are still gonna hike in 2025. There's like a lot of people that are like, fuck it, they'll figure it out by then, and hopefully we'll just hike around it or whatever. Like, there's gonna be people doing it, so we'll see how it goes, I guess.
It's crazy because like my motivation for the CDT and the PCT were like all the wildfires, and I was like, I gotta hike this now, but I never would have thought like. I mean, it's dumb, I guess, that I never thought, but like the East Coast is getting it too, and then there was like, well, I'm in New Hampshire at the moment, but there was like wildfires here and like in Mass because it was so dry, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what the heck is going on?
Yeah, our planet's kind of fucked up at the moment. There's a lot of things going on everywhere, and even like in the Shenandoahs, there was that crazy wildfire. I don't know if you saw some of the like burn areas when if like we hiked through like some of it, I think, and I think a local was telling me that like a lot of it got destroyed and people had to like flee their property and yeah, it was bad.
I remember seeing one area for sure.
Yeah. And it's kind of cool. Like I don't know why, but I think it's kind of awesome to like hike through a burn zone just cuz like it feels so different. Like all the bugs are gone for some reason and then like it's more exposed. It just feels like apocalyptic in like a
Yes.
cool way. So I just thought it was interesting because it was so different than like staying in the green tunnel the whole time. It was definitely a change of pace. And this year, I don't know if you stopped by this water source. There was like those benches made out of wood that someone had carved. It was in a burn zone. Um,
Don't remember.
oh damn. It was like a really interesting spot, but yeah, it was cool stuff for sure. I'll probably like post a photo of it like on the video so that you could see it later, I guess. But yeah. Um, so yeah, I have like a bunch of questions I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
All right, so on which one of your hikes, like of the three that you did, which one did you decide like I want to be a triple crowner?
Before the PCT,
Oh really?
which was the first one, and then I was like, this is silly because I haven't even hiked one trail yet. Like,
You,
I didn't really tell anyone because, well, also like I'd always wanted to hike the AT, but then I was like sick of the East Coast, and I was like, I just wanna like I'd never been to California, Oregon, or Washington before PCT, and I was like, I just wanted to do something completely different. So I already kind of knew like I wanted to do the AT, wanted to do PCT, and
But were you like an experienced hiker when you
then no,
started
I
the
mean
PCT, or you were like very new to all this?
I hiked. I did a lot of day hiking, but I had like a failed AT hike, not AT through hike, but
Attempt, yeah.
not through hike attempt. But I tried to hike the New Hampshire AT, which was a bad idea because it's like one of the hardest parts, either New Hampshire or Maine, probably.
Yeah, it was pretty tough.
And I'm like, hey, I'm gonna just hike the New Hampshire AT once I graduate college. And I like my gear was pretty good, but I tried to carry like 10 days of food, which is like so heavy, and it was like June, so it was like really hot and mosquitoes everywhere.
That sounds painful.
And I made it like 2 days. I remember, oh, I was going up like Smarts Mountain,
Yeah.
and I turned around and like a real through hiker passed me, and he was really fast because he was there in June, like he was flying, and he passed me, and then I like turned around, and this was like day 2, and I was like, nah, I'm going home. And so that didn't work out, and then I kept hiking a lot, but not like overnight, just like day hikes. And then I like remember telling my parents about the PCT, and they were like, "Are you sure? Like, remember what happened last time?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but don't worry, it's good. This is like I got it under control this time."
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Whew. I mean, that's a good shakedown hike, I guess. How many miles would you say it was as like doing that AT hike?
not very many.
But it is New Hampshire, so like they were
It
pretty
is New
tough
Hampshire.
miles.
Even on the oh yeah, we were together right at that point when we were doing smarts.
Yes.
I was like, man, this is hard. Like
Yeah, you like said you
super
thought about
physical.
quitting, or like it crossed your mind, like, but like I knew you weren't like gonna actually quit, but like you like mentioned that how like it was like mentally like tough for you to like do that mountain, right?
Yeah. I feel like it was physically tough. I was like, man, this is hard, but it was cool to be like, I got it now.
You did it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. I don't know if you know, but like I tried. This is like was my second attempt at the AT, and like my first one, I made it like 700 miles in. And when I was getting there, like it was messing with me for sure. I was like,
Mm.
I don't know, like this is all new trail now, and it's all like like who knows, it just felt kind of wild, and I think I was pushing myself too hard at that point too, because I just wanted to like get through that section and just like you know keep it moving. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a cool spot. It's like right before McAfee's Knob, so it's Trout Creek, and which is like a weird spot because a lot of people like camp at the road right there, and I'm not sure if you remember it, but it's like yeah, it's a tough section. It like that climb, even this year I was there with Firewaffle, and we were both like sweating our brains out. Just it was like really dry and hot that day. Like
So hot.
it's a tough section. Virginia kicks your ass.
Yep.
Like it's I don't know where these rumors came from that Virginia's flat. Like it does get flat like in Northern Virginia, I guess, but even then you're like still you're just going to do bigger miles, so it's like still tough. My buddy said he didn't like it cuz it was flat because he said it was like boring and just like yeah, it was too boring, and that meant that like messed with him mentally, and he didn't want to like finish Virginia, so he just skipped up to the Shenandoahs.
I was trying to think about like how I felt there, but I don't remember.
Yeah, it was it yeah, I feel like isn't it all kind of like a blur, just like holy shit, like when you get to the end you're like whoa, like I just did all that. I just time
Yeah, and
traveled.
I wish I appreciated appreciated it more.
Yeah, I think journaling is important. I did a little bit of journaling like in the first 10 days and then I gave up because it was like time consuming and I'm like in my tent and I'm just like, yeah, I'll go to sleep now, you know? I'm not really going to do all
I did
this.
like my silly Instagram journals.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I feel like if I did it like post nursing school, I would have had a bigger appreciation for it.
For sure. Yeah, because I was actually that was one of my questions too. Was like, if you could do the AT again and you didn't have like the budget or time constraint, like how long do you think you would take to do the whole thing?
Probably 5 months.
5 months. So you'd still go like pretty fast, just not as fast as like average speed, I guess.
Yeah, or I feel like maybe I would have hiked similar speed, but taken a lot more days, like 0 days or Nero days.
But then but I feel like other hikers they'll be at a different speed than you then because if you took like a week off or whatever, like I don't know, like there is like pressure to stay with the bubble even if you have an unlimited budget because you're like because now I'm gonna have to meet all new people. I'm gonna be like the random person again. Like
It's stressful.
it's kind of stressful and people get a little bit clicky and like weird with
Break
all
time.
that. And, yeah, and it's
I feel like the thing about the PCT and the CBT is that you're like forced to hike the same pace because of the weather
yeah.
window, and so everyone's kind of like some people go like really fast. Um, but I feel like for the most part, everyone's like kind of making the same speed.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of forced to. Whereas the AT, I feel like there's like kind of a big range. But
Yeah, there's really any you could choose like any speed and you'll probably find people doing it. Like cuz there's so many people on that trail. Um and honestly towards the end, I don't know if you felt this, but I was like trying to like get ahead of people and I like couldn't cuz I was like there's nothing you can't really everything's kind of like you said it's like it's just set up in a certain way and if you try to get ahead, like you'll just end up in the same place as all those other people that tried to get ahead. Cause like I guess there's less options, like especially in the whites with like the huts, like you're kind of like hiking around the huts, and so it's like, do I go 7 miles or like 23 miles or whatever it is, and like there's really no in between unless you're gonna do what we did, which was like stealth camp and find like these crazy far out sites that were like pretty good actually, most of them. But yeah, I don't know. The White Mountains were just a different vibe for me. Honestly, it was. I learned a lot, and I feel like it makes you grow as a hiker for sure. Cause like, the trail limits what you can do, sort of, and you just kind of have to go with the flow, I guess.
I'm supposed to hike tomorrow, like Madison. Well, we're gonna do Madison for sure, but I'm sure about
I
Adams or
I'm
Jones.
so jealous. You guys live right next to all that. That's I wish
That's
I
sad.
wish I was there. There's no mountains here. We're like in this is like a hiking Chicago's like a hiking desert. Like there's nothing here. There's like Wisconsin, I guess, and like the Ice Age Trail. Like it's just a road walk. Like there's nothing. And it's still pretty far away. It's like 6 hours away. Like the northern terminus or the western terminus. It goes west to east across Wisconsin.
Weibo.
Yeah.
Weibo.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's Weibo. That's
Weibo.
that's wild. I never. That's yeah. I would go Ebo probably. How did people react when you told them like, "Hey, I'm like this is my triple crown. I'm about to finish it." What was people's reaction when you said stuff like that?
Mm, well, Katahdin was weird because, like, I hiked with Matt, so that was nice. But then, like, there's all like the day hikers and stuff, and then you have to wait in line, and then I was like waiting in line, and then I made my little crown, and so I like pulled it out, and then, um, did you ever meet like Kit Kat and Rifle?
Maybe.
But like the other thru hikers were there, and I like put my crown on, and they were like, "Wait, are you a triple crowner?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and they were like, "What? That's badass!" And then I'm like, "Thanks." And then all the day hiker people were like, "Why are you wearing a Burger King crown?" And it was just like a
Yeah.
weird thing. Yeah.
But I guess what I'm asking is like just throughout the trail, like bumping into people and like, you know, like did you tell people? Like did they ask or did it just like not come up and you just kind of like kept it to yourself type thing?
Uh,
Cuz I'd be like I'm a freak. I'm about to be a triple crowder, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a badass like
uh, I brought it up sometimes, but I didn't want to be like weird about it. I don't know.
yeah. I mean that's fair. Yeah. I cuz I feel like word kind of spreads on trail like people kind of find out like once someone knows, everyone knows and yeah. But I don't know. I feel like if I was getting my triple crown like yeah, I don't know how I'd feel about it. Maybe I would just like keep it to myself and then like if people were really like asking me a lot like so how many trails did you hike and this and that like then I would maybe like mention it but I don't know if I'd like advertise it like have the patches like each patch on my pack and just I was thinking about that like maybe I should put my 2000 miler patch on there but then it's like is that am I bragging or is like do I even want people to know or, it could be a conversation starter I guess. um I mean I'm proud of it so I it's something I feel like I'd want to put other things too because if you have just the 2000 miler patch like you need like more like if it's like fully decked out with like other patches and stuff and it was like a whole vibe then that makes more sense but I don't know. Why did you start your through hike so late?
Oh, what the heck?
Because you wanted to go faster I guess.
Well, I feel like it's not that late. That's a good question. I feel like I started April 17th.
Oh, I mean that's I would say that's later than most. I like the bubble
Yeah.
mostly starts like March 15th.
I feel
Um,
like April used to be like the prime time, but now it's everyone starts early.
mm,
Um, Mostly because I was working at a ski area, and it ended April 7th, and like I could have left early, but I was like,
mm-hmm.
I'll just stay till the ski area closes and start the AT. Um, I guess it would have like been less stressful because it could have given me more time.
But
But
yeah.
on the CDT, like since I was in Sobo and I wasn't that fast, everyone was always like, it was always like the townies in town. They were like, "Oh, you're a Sobo. Like, you guys are slow. You're never gonna make it." Blah blah blah. And that's all that anyone ever said. And so then when I started the AT and at Amicalola, this lady was one lady was like, "Oh, it's a little late to be starting the AT," and then the second lady, that was like at the like parking lot, and then on the trail, this lady asked me if I was through hiking, and I said yes, and then she's like, um, "When do you want to finish by?" And then I told her the end of August, and she was like, "Oh, that's 20 miles a day," which is like 16 point something. Whatever. She was like, "That's 20 miles a day, and do you know what time it is? It's 2 p.m. and you're still on the approach trail. You're never gonna finish." And so then I texted my CDT friends, and I'm like, "What the hell?" And they were like, "Oh, we paid her to." They were kidding, but they were like, "Oh, we paid that lady to say that." Because I was like,
She's
"Oh,
a paid actress.
I was like, is this a joke?" Oh,
Yeah, there's a lot of that on the trail like people think they know stuff and they give you like random advice or like unsolicited advice, and a lot of times it's just wrong. And yeah.
Always unsolicited advice.
Yeah. Um, so do you think Sobo would have been more fun than Nobo now that you've
On the
done it on the AT?
I feel like I might have had more friends because I feel like Sobos are kind of like serious slash like. Well, I'm not serious.
They're more professional than the Noboers.
I feel like Sobos either like they're on a mission. Like I feel
Yeah.
like more Sobos hike faster.
I don't know about you though. I saw a lot of Sobos that looked really
Yeah, they did
just
look sad.
sad. They just like really
Yeah,
sad, and I'm like, are you okay? Like, do you need a
and I saw
hug?
them in
Like,
like Vermont or something, and I'm like, you still got a ways to go.
you remember that one guy that like blasted it down the mountain, like didn't even say hi to us,
Yes.
and it was like just the weirdest vibe. Like that was not just one guy. That was a lot of
Yeah,
people.
those Sobos were weird. I feel like that was Smart's Mountain.
Yeah, I think it was.
I feel like Nobo's the way to go.
But okay, I'll tell you what I think. If I were to do it again, like now that I've done Nobo, I would definitely go Sobo. Well, obviously
Yeah.
just to like see how it goes and stuff, but also I feel like it would be faster probably cuz you get the hardest parts done first. So you'd be already like super fit going in hopefully, and that would like it would just be like good motivation like once you're done with New Hampshire or yeah, like Vermont, then New Hampshire, and then you're like, oh, I'm chilling now. Like I'm just gonna send it down the trail, and yeah,
And they say like, oh, you have hiker legs, but I just felt tired. Like
yeah,
I feel like I would have felt better if I started off um, with New Hampshire because like I wouldn't have been so tired. But by the time I got to New Hampshire, I was like, damn, I'm tired.
yeah. I feel like I had more things to say about this whole Sobo thing, cause like it's such a different vibe. It's so like you have deeper connections because you're like there's less people, so the people that you do meet, it's like you really connect with them, and then
That's what the CDT is like.
right, which that
Like
could be more fun.
I was the most lonely on the AT,
Yeah,
even though it's the most popular because it's like you're constantly seeing people or like your paces aren't matching up. But like on CDT, especially CDT Sobo, like there's so few that like when you see someone, it's so special. You're like, oh, CDT Sobo, let's be friends.
yeah,
So
for sure. Okay, so oh, this was part of what we were saying. So I said I think the AT is overcrowded. Did you find this to be true slash annoying?
I feel like I was lonely, but Georgia was kind of crazy. But no, I
That's
feel like I was lonely.
you're saying like Georgia like day 1 through 10 type
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Well, yeah, because like everyone's starting around there, so yeah, I mean it's gonna be crowded, I guess. But I expected that because like last year was the same way. I just like booked it out of Georgia. I was
Yeah.
yeah, but I didn't feel like there were times where I just couldn't avoid people. Like you could avoid crowds if you just camp like at the next tent site after the shelter or whatever. Like it wasn't too bad in that regard. I felt like it got more crowded like towards like after Harper's Ferry. There were all these new people that I never saw before, and a lot of them were flip floppers too.
Hmm.
And I felt like the crowds got crazy after that for me.
Well, I was like loneliest in like Pennsylvania, probably. And I was like, oh, that's funny. Yeah, right after, I feel like I was the loneliest after Harper's Ferry.
Really?
And I would be like, um, okay, if I get to the shelter and there's someone here and it's cool, I'll stay. But if there's no one here, I'll keep hiking. And then, like, I would get there, there's no one there, and I'll keep hiking.
because you wouldn't like set up. You're not really a shelter person, right? You're mostly a tent. You told me you're like afraid of shelters because of the mice and stuff.
Yep.
Because I don't know. I don't like setting up like alone in the shelter and just like, and then anyone can like show up and just like hello, and then like wake you up and just whatever. It's like it's such a lottery. Like you just don't know what can happen with that.
I slept in like 3 shelters, I think.
Yeah, that's really low. That's really low.
The one was in Shenandoah because there was no tent sites, and I was gonna keep hiking, but then it was like 8 p.m. I'm like, whatever. And then there was a thru hiker there, and he was cool, and he was like, oh, just stay here. And I'm like, okay. But then like everyone else was asleep, and it was like, yeah, it was like 8, and so I was like, all right, I'll be quiet, like setting up my stuff. And then these random people get up at like 4 a.m. and start like getting ready for the day, and then I find out that they're like section hiking, but they only have to hike like 1 mile to get out of the park to like catch their shuttle at like 10:30 a.m. And I'm like, why are you up at 4 a.m.?
I don't know. They must be like ultra runners at heart, just getting up at like 3:30 in the morning and.
They were funny.
Yeah.
They were nice guys, but they were up so early.
Guess they want to be prepared. They gotta have 5 hours heads up before they get to their shuttle. All right. So, do you consider yourself a purist? And did you regret not aqua blazing the Shenandoahs?
Yes, but I didn't have any friends.
So, wait, yes to both of those? You do regret not aqua blazing, and you're a purist?
I regret not aquablazing. The purist thing is tough. No, but I'm torn on the aquablazing because I feel like my rule is that, like, I don't care about blue glazing.
It's still you're not like skipping the Shenandoahs, you're just doing it differently. So it's not like, I feel like a lot of people wouldn't consider it a violation of like a purist hike because it's, but some people say it's like easier, but you're also like using your arms, and there could be some crazy like wind on those rivers, so on the Shenandoah River.
Usually my rule is that I just have to walk, like it doesn't matter which trail I'm walking. But if I had like a group of people, I kind of wish I was.
It sounds fun, but it's also like expensive. Like that, I don't like that part of it. So I don't really. I guess next time I'd probably do it just to like see what it is. But, and actually, I might even road walk the Shenandoahs because there were like really good views from the road. Like I feel like I missed out because I was just in the green tunnel and like didn't see the views. But it's not like the views were tremendous anyway in the Shanties. They were kind of mid in my opinion, but I don't know. Kind of how I feel about it. And the Shenandoahs was tough. Like it was so buggy and like you can't really go off trail. You're just like stuck to the trail, and like you said, there's really not a lot of tent sites. There were like a few stealth sites here and there, but mentally, I think the Shenandoahs was difficult for me for some reason.
I feel like that's where I broke off with my friend that I was hiking with. Well, it was a good thing because we wanted to hike our own hikes. Classic, cliche, hike your own hike. But we like split up like midway through Shenandoah, and so that after that I saw no other. Maybe they were all on the road, but I saw like literally no other thru hikers in Shenandoah until I got to Front Royal, where they had the.
There were so many people there.
Did you go to like the base camp with the gear store with the laundry and the?
Yeah, that was really cool. That was like one of the nicest like free places that they had on the whole trail. I was like, could I live here? Like, and there's also like a bar like right in the building. So like I got their burger, which was like one of the best burgers on the trail, I think. Like it was incredible. It was kind of expensive, but I was like, whatever, I want to have fun. So I got a burger, we got some beer. It was good times. And my laundry was just going the whole time while I was there, and the gear store was pretty good. That's where I got one of my shoes, the Topos, and they were all right, but nothing crazy. They only had one pair in my size, so like in the whole store, they had one pair of shoes. That's like trail runners. That's my size, yeah. Um, yeah, Front Royal was a cool town. I kind of regret not zeroing there. I think it would have been fun.
I did a hero.
I think me too. I think I also did. I quit. I was like in and out for me. I was there, like hung out like all day, and then I left.
It was set up like perfect for a hero because they let you shower, do your laundry.
And there was a free trolley that goes to the town and back.
Yep.
Yeah. Definitely that very underrated town. But yeah, so biggest regrets with gear on the Appalachian Trail. Did you have any regrets? I feel like your stuff was pretty dialed in at that point.
I feel like it was good. I did something crazy. I got rid of my stove in Pennsylvania, which I was like, cold soaking is crazy. I would never get rid of my stove. But then it was so humid that I was like, I feel nauseous. I am not cooking. I got rid of it until I got rid of a lot of things. I got like
You feel the weight of the stove gone. It's like, and it's another thing that's like not there, and you're just like, I don't have to even think about it, you
yeah, it
know?
was nice.
Yeah.
I got rid of the stove. I got rid of my fleece. I got rid of my puffy. I got rid of a lot of things.
That was crazy. How'd you get rid of your fleece and your puffy? Did you have any? So you had like one. You had a sun hoodie and a rain poncho or rain jacket, and that's it.
Yeah, I got them back in New Hampshire, I think.
That's
I
like
got the fleece back in Vermont, and I got all the other stuff back in New Hampshire. I got my
okay.
stove back in New Hampshire.
Yeah, the stove is such a hard decision for me. It's like sometimes I want it, but then other times I'm like, why do I have it? And then I need the gas. Like, you ever feel like you're carrying the gas and you never use it? And you're just like, this is so unnecessary. And like, the weight, it matters. Like, it makes a huge difference for sure. Um,
I was happy to get it back, but I was also happy to get rid of it in a minute.
did you get rid of your pot, or you kept the Talenti? Or,
I kept the Talenti. I got rid of the pot.
right, so that's another like ounce or whatever, because it's a little bit later. I guess it depends on which pot you have. If it's like a 550 pot,
Oh my gosh, I'm so sad. I had a pot that I had for the whole Triple Crown, and then I went to this like rock climbing festival, and I brought it, and I left it there.
oh no.
I had to get a new one. And I got the same pot, but like the MSR hiking kettle.
Yep, that's a bummer.
R.I.P.
RIP pot. It was a good run. Hiking over 8,000 miles or whatever.
I know. And it's funny because I stole it from my dad. Like, um, yeah, he like has all this gear, and I like was like, "Ooh, I need a pot. Like, can I take this?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then I take the DCT with it, and he's like, "Can I have my pot back yet?" And I'm like, "Nope." And then I DDT with it, and he's like, "That thing's gonna walk across the country," and then I lost it.
Damn.
But it's alright. I had a good run.
Yep, I feel like for me that I didn't. My tent was kind of small. That's about like the main gear regret that I had. I think.
What tent did you have again?
The tarp tent Aeon Lee. And yeah, it was like really good. It kept me dry, but it had like 3,000 miles. Like it has right now, it's at like at 3,100 miles of use. Like that thing's falling apart. Like it's bad.
Wow.
And you know what's crazy about that tent? It was like good the whole trail, and then I get to Katahdin. You know at Katahdin there's like those shelters, I forget the name of the shelter, but I think it was whatever. It doesn't matter. But they have like these tent pads that are like sand. It was like this really gritty, like weird sand that I didn't see the entire trail. And I set up my tent on the tent pads because the ranger was like, "Don't set up your tent anywhere else. You have to use the tent pads." And I'm like, "Why?" There's like obviously like spots that are like you could see like a million people set up there, which I should have done, or I should have just slept in the shelter, because that sand got into my tent, and it was like really gritty, and it just like messed up my zippers. It like I couldn't get it off. It was like I had to wash my tent like multiple times. And it was like my hands were kind of like messed up at that point because I guess like New Hampshire and like using your hands to like climb and stuff, they had like staph or something. I don't know what happened to my hands towards the end, but then I got this like sand in my hands. I was just like, this is so bad. Like, are they trying to like prep me for the PCT or something? Like right at the end of the trail with this tent pad. Like it was just so bizarre. So that's my story about Katahdin Springs Campground or whatever it's
Oh my
called.
gosh. Totten, we camped, the place that's like at Able Bridge, and it was like about to thunderstorm, like the sky was crazy, and we were like, okay, gotta set up our tent, and we go there, and there's like two lean-tos, and we go to the first one, and no one's in there, and sweet, let's just like hang out in here, and then these people have like a giant 10-person tent set up outside the lean-to, and this lady comes over, and she's like, it's our lean-to, we're using that, and we're like, we just like were too stunned just to say, just like, sorry. And so we set up our like sad little tent, and which looks like trash because it's Z-Packs, and it like, I love the tent, but it looks like trash.
It's a trash bag, yeah.
And we set up our tent, and then these people with the 10-person tent are like have a wagon, and they like keep going out to their car and like getting a bunch of stuff. And like we're like, what are they doing? And um, then the people in the other lean-to were like these people in like their 20s, and then they come over and they're like, oh, like they see us in our trash bag tent, and they're like, oh, we're gonna go to dinner, like if you want to hang out in our lean-to, like go ahead. And we're like, oh, thanks, but we end up not. But then we end up seeing them on the Katahdin summit. Like they hiked the knife edge,
Yeah.
and we hiked the AT or whatever, and then we ended up getting there at the same time. And then it turns out that they're from New Hampshire as well, from like Warren, where Mount Moosilauke is, and they're really cool. And we hiked down with them, like a totally different trail that didn't bring us back to where we needed to be. But that's okay, because I called my mom. I'm like, hey, can you pick us up at this other place? And so they were really cool, but it was just like kind of like fitting for like, well, first it was like total dichotomy, like coolest people, and then like not so cool, but also like re-entering society, and these people have a 10-person tent and a lean-to and like wagoning their stuff in, and we're just like, oh my goodness.
I know doesn't it feel kind of bizarre at the end? Like you're like, I'm like sleeping in a trash bag. Like everything is maximum like gross because you're like at the end of the through hike, and you're just like, what am I doing? Like I could just like, what am I doing? Like I could be in like a hotel room right now or whatever. Like you're already like kind of like I'm like done with this through hike right now, and like I don't know. It's a weird vibe like getting towards the end like that.
I feel like all my through hikes, I was like ready to be done because I wanted the goal to be done.
Yeah.
I wanted the satisfaction, but I wasn't, except the PCT, if the weather had been good, I was like, I would have kept hiking, but like it was so cold, so rainy, so snowy. Same with the CDT was cold, it wasn't snowy. But like I wasn't ready, I didn't want to stop living the lifestyle, I just wanted the like
Exactly.
goal to be done. I don't know.
But you have to, cause like you can't always like be a permanent through hiker. I mean, maybe you can. I don't know, but it's
Yeah.
like eventually, like it's coming to an end, and
Yeah.
what's crazy is like even at Shaw's, there were people that like wanted to straight up quit. I'm like, you're almost done with the
That
hike.
is
Like
crazy.
like there was a weird vibe. Like people already like kind of like slipping into like trail depression a little bit. They were like they don't know what they're gonna do after, or like they don't even know if they're gonna make it to Katana. I'm like, bro, you're like literally here. You just got to get through the 100 mile wilderness. Like that's it. We're done. You know. And it's like a red carpet. It's just like like when you get over that mountain in the 100 mile wilderness, and then it's just flat. You're just like you're just flying. It's so fun. Like, but yeah, the 100 mile was cool. I liked it there for
I
sure.
liked the second half. I didn't like after you get up through the mountain and then
It's like
you're
Is
just
it not Whitney? No, it's like something
white cap or something.
White Cap Mountain. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Once you get over, you liked it.
Yeah, after that it was cool. I think it was just like I said, I wanted the goal to be done. Like I was like, I just want to finish the AT, but I didn't want to
And
put
the
out
Triple
like
Crown. That's a
and
lot
the
of pressure.
like what if something happens and I
Like,
can't
what if you
finish?
like break? Like, what if something like you slip or like at the worst time, like right before? Did you have any moments like you're like climbing up Katahdin and you're like, oh shit moment, like gust of wind and like oh god, like I'm about to be done and like here this happens? Like, did you have anything like thing like that, or it was like pretty chill?
It was pretty chill.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw my videos of like me climbing up Katahdin. It was like a crazy storm, like not storm, but the wind was really strong that day, and it was like kind of raining. But it wasn't cold or anything. Like it was fine. But still, it was like it felt like kind of epic to end on this like sketchy climb because it was super foggy, like hard to see the cairns. I was by myself with like one other southbounder who was like starting his hike, and like we made it to the top and then the weather cleared up, but it was interesting like summiting that day. For sure.
Yeah, I feel like for me, like the bottom part was nice weather, but like the very top was like, yeah, I couldn't really see what was happening. It was cold and
Yeah, like once you go above tree line,
yep.
you're like, oh, I'm like exposed now, and you can't really tent up there either. Like you kind of have to just hike up and hike down.
Yep.
So it's a serious mountain. Like that place is no joke. Like people have died, I think, right? Like in the winter for
I think
sure.
so.
Because people do try to hike it in the winter, and yeah, it's pretty hardcore. And it's the tallest mountain in Maine, so it's no joke. Um. Oh, so if you had an unlimited budget, would you like change your top three or like top four, like sleeping pad, tent, backpack, uh, quilt, or would you just like keep all the same stuff that you have? Would you get like a fancy hyperlight, like badass
Oh, I had a
backpack?
hyperlight. Hold up. First of all, it's funny because we were talking about bladder training in nursing school. And I was like, yeah, like on the trail, like, I don't know if it's a thing for guys too, but like, you can pee wherever. And so then when you get back in normal life, like, your
Yeah.
muscles, like, your bladder muscles are like not strong. And then you're like, oh no, emergency.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. That's hard to like um to not do. But I feel like if you don't drink as much water, it's not as big of a deal cuz I feel like I used to drink too much when I was hiking and I'll just pee all day, but now I just drink less and I'm more careful with my water usage, and when I do drink water, I'm like drinking electrolyte water, so it's like more hydrating. And but yeah, there's definitely sometimes that pressure to just like fill up your bladder completely, like just drink as much like a liter or whatever, and then fill up all your water bottles because you like don't know when the next good water source is, and then you
I
like
feel like
end
the
up.
most hydrated I was in the desert, which is so silly because I like, yeah, like what you're saying, I didn't know where my water would be, and so I filled up all my water, but then it's heavy, and so then I'd have to drink it all. I didn't want to waste it, and so I feel like the most hydrated I was in the desert.
Because it's
But
less
then on the
forgiving
AT,
out there, and you're like, I need to stay hydrated. Yeah, that makes
yeah, but
sense.
then on the AT when there's water everywhere, I'm like, oh, I don't need water. I don't need water. And then
Yeah,
The big
it's
three, no, I feel like I would keep it the same.
really so it's not
I had some
you
fancy
just
rigs.
yeah. I mean, you get like a
Um,
crazy expensive quilt, no? Like some
I had
really
a crazy
ultralight.
expensive sleeping bag.
Oh, you did?
I had a Western Mountaineering 10-degree mummy bag. I ordered it on the CDT. I wish I had a 50 but I ordered it in Glacier on the CDT because I was cold and I was like, if I'm cold now, then I'm screwed because the CDT Sobo is cold. Um, but it's amazing. It's a great sleeping bag. But
How many degrees is it?
it was 10-degree, but I feel like Western Mountaineering is like 10-degree is like you're comfortable at 10 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you're gonna just gonna survive at 10 degrees, you know.
Do you know how much it weighs? Or
I feel like it's 2 pounds.
2 pounds? That's heavy. Well, for a 10 degree, I guess that's not the worst. Cause I have a 20 degree Z-Packs but is you said it's a sleeping bag with a hood and everything? Oh, so that's actually a good weight. But
I
you
feel like
you you use a smaller one though, I'm assuming, right?
yeah, but I'm a dummy and I bought like a 6-foot sleeping bag, which was dumb because then it takes longer to like heat up. But I was like, what if the 5'6" is too small? Even though I'm 5'3", I don't know why 5'6" would be too small.
Yeah, because sometimes you do want a little extra space in there, especially like width wise. Because if you're like wearing your puffy to sleep or other things, then like you don't want it to like compress and then like feel colder. So it's good to have more space than less, I think, most of the time.
And I put like my whole body inside of that thing. It's an unpopular opinion that I have because I feel like a lot of people get like, and I'm kind of claustrophobic, but for some reason I love sleeping bags. I love zipping my whole body inside.
I do too, but I just went crazy with the weight, and I got an 18-ounce top quilt with no bottom, no hood, and it worked. But I would definitely be
Yeah,
more happy if it was a sleeping bag.
the AT, I had a quilt on the AT. I got a 20-degree quilt, which like I liked having in the South and in like New Hampshire, Maine, but in the Mid-Atlantic, I was like, I don't even want this thing on me. So I feel like if it's hot, like quilt's fine, but if it's cold, then I want a sleeping bag.
Right, but what sleeping pad did you use for?
I had a Neo Air X Lite women's.
Okay, so that one's pretty warm. Like that'll keep your body warm even if you didn't have like any material under you. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Cause like you're compressing it anyway. Like there's always like that little bit of warmth that's still like trapped, but you're like squeezing down on the bag, so it kind of kills the insulation, at least where your weight is. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
some people. Yeah.
I had a Hyperlite on the PCT, but I switched to a ULA circuit on the CDT, and then I kept it on the AT, which was like kind of overkill because I didn't really need space, but then I was sentimental. I was attached to it, so I just kept it. But
Yeah.
the Hyperlite was fine. It's lighter, but the like structure of the circuit was better. Like it carried better, and the colors were more fun. And
That circuit bag, it looks like it was built for you. Like it just fits you like you look like you know what you're doing when you have that pack on. I don't know why. It's like maybe it's the hip belt or just the everything. Like it just looks like it was meant to be.
mm,
It's just the right size, I guess. And it's good that
yeah,
you found the pack that fits you. I'm still looking for like a comfy pack. Cause the one that I used in the AT, like I can't do the hip belt. It's too high up. It's like it would be like here. Um, but I got a new backpack, but I haven't actually hiked in it like in the mountains type stuff. Like you can hike, I guess, outside, but when you're going uphill and downhill, it's like a different it like puts different forces on your body. So I still have to like fully test it out. But it does fit me. It's like it's the right torso. They actually made a custom torso length for that. So, yeah.
What
So,
else you got?
oh yeah. Sorry, what?
I said, what else you got?
Okay. Funnest side quest on the AT.
Oh, I know. My friend and I that I was saying we split up halfway through Shenandoah. Right before we split, we saw a flyer and it said like we're always missing like the trail days. Like there's trail days in Damascus, but then there was like all these little town trail days along the way,
Mm-hmm.
and we kept missing them by like a day or two. And so it was right after Daleville. It was like Troutdale or Troutville or something.
Mm-hmm.
They were having a trail day, but we were going to be a day early. And then I read the flyer and it said they were having river tubing. And I love tubing. And we were like, oh, should we like come back? Like, how should we really want to go tubing? And then I was like, wait. Well, then we had like we kept hiking and we just like sat down on the trail and we're like, okay, let's figure this out. And then we're like, okay, well, what if we do our own tubing? We hike to this road crossing. We hitch to town. We go to the tubing place. We go tubing. We hitch back to trail. We keep hiking. And so we did it, and it was awesome. And at first, it was like right when you enter Shenandoah, and we're like, no one's gonna pick us up. But finally, this like cute old lady picks us up, takes us into town, and then we go tubing. And then we're only gonna do one lap because we're like, oh, we need to go hiking. But then it was so fun that we did another lap. And then we went back to trail, and it was like 5 p.m. and like crap, we gotta hike 10 more miles, but got it done.
That's no problem for you. You like to hike 10 miles after dark.
I do, but I feel like he was grumpy.
Yeah. That is one thing I noticed about you is you have like a different schedule I think than most hikers because you like to kind of sleep in and then hike really late into the night and then just show up like a thief in the night and get a tent site somehow and then I don't even know how you find like good tent sites because I feel like it's so hard to see with even with the headlamp like
It's hard.
finding an ideal place and then like I'm waking everyone up or I don't know. But I guess that's just me.
I remember that time in Vermont when I was like way behind because I got all this trail magic, and then I jumped off the bridge, and then I ended up, it was like 9 p.m. by the time I got to camp, and then I didn't want to eat my chips because I was like, what if they're too loud? But then the guy camped next to us was snoring so loud, and I was like, I should have eaten my chips.
Yeah. That was that the day? I think I remember that day. It was like by that shelter.
Yes, it was right
That-
before the New Hampshire border.
This is why trekking pole tents suck, by the way. You like once you set them up, you're like, I'm not moving. You're just like, yeah, it's done. Like I can't. I guess you could have like put it away, but it just would be so annoying at that point. Yeah, I don't think I slept very well that night either, but
Should have eaten more chips.
yeah. But yeah, so I guess funnest side quest is going tubing after Daleville, something like that. I actually, you know what I did? I had this crazy whitewater rafting thing, and it was trail magic, which was like insane. Like I got out of the 100-mile wilderness, and then at A Ball store, I'm just like chilling there and eating food, and then some like rafting guides just pulled up, and they're like, "Dude, you're gonna come with us. We're gonna get you drunk. You're gonna go whitewater rafting." And I'm like, "Let's go." And at first I was like hesitant because like, are these guys gonna like kidnap me? Like, what's going on? But then I'm like, they're fine. Like they're just trying to be nice. So I like went with them, and it was awesome, but it was also like really hard. Like we did some crazy rafting. Like it was, I think it was like category 4 or 5 maybe. Because like I didn't sign any.
Guide.
You're with
Like
rafting
library.
guides. It's so different that like you go on a raft like with like a tour guide, like you got all these like normies, and then you have the rafting guy, and it's like chill, you know. But when you go with these guys on the weekend, like this is their party time, and they do some wild shit on the river. And that day, the dam really was active. Like it was crazy. It was insane. I wish I like took photos and documented all this stuff because it was like, it was a trip. Like it was wild.
I wish that.
And right before summiting Katahdin, that's where I could have injured myself, by the way, because I just did the 100-mile wilderness, and I was like pooped out of my mind. I was just like,
Yeah.
I was dead. And then we go whitewater rafting, which was just, it was insane. But it's totally worth it. 100% recommend.
Well, I used to be a raft guide in Colorado, but only
Yep.
class 3.
Mhm.
But with the guides, yeah, we would do like class 4, class 5. But my friend that was a guide somehow met these when I was in Colorado. Somehow met these people that were through hiking the Colorado Trail, and like kind of like you were saying, like kidnapped them, and was like, "Hey, come on my boat," and like, yeah.
That's
I'm glad you
awesome.
went. It's fun. I'm jealous. I wish I would have went.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were jealous that day because I just like showed up and everyone was at a ball store, and they're all like, "Where did you come from?" And I was just like out of my mind, like, and I was like, "Yeah, I just went whitewater rafting. It was awesome." Like, man, it was such a crazy experience. Still to this day, I don't know how I survived that. It was just, and I didn't have my glasses on because like I was afraid they were gonna get lost in the water.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like kind of blind, like I was just like listening to his commands, and I'm like just doing the stuff. Like I was like terrified. It was nuts. But it's also different like on a smaller raft because you like go faster. So I'm used to like really paddling hard, and I was like, we were like sending the raft down the river, and I'm like, he's like, no, dude, you don't have to go that hard. Like we're good because like this thing is fast. I'm used to like the big commercial raft with like
Yeah.
15 people on it, and because like if you do category 3 with that one, I feel like or if you did category 5 with that one, that'll just be insane because the raft would just be like super like sketchy because if you can hit more stuff, it's like bigger, and there was some really narrow like rocks and shit.
I'm a fan of the small raft. Like sometimes whenever I did a small raft to guide, I was like, hell yeah. But then I had the big raft, and then sometimes I'd have like, one time I had 7 dudes as customers, and they were like all like at least 200 pounds. And I was
Oh my
like,
God.
no. And then I like could not even steer. Like I just had to, like, cause you call commands, and so I just had to like rely on the, like right side, left side, because I was like, I cannot. Because if it's a small raft, I can steer it by myself. But this raft, I was like, no chance.
They're just gonna overpower everything and anything you do. So you're just kind of like, hopefully they don't do anything stupid type thing.
But
Like,
it's for sure more stable. Like the heavier raft, bigger raft is for sure more stable.
but you have to. But everyone has to coordinate. Like if someone's trolling, then everyone's kind of fucked. And especially if it's like a sketchy, like section of the river, like you really, yeah. Rafting scares the shit out of me. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's dangerous. It's straight up like statistically, it's like it's things can happen. You know, I think it's more dangerous than skydiving, or at least that's what I heard. In terms of like injury and death and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely an awesome thing. Okay, so is hiking most of the trail with a trampoline worth it? Benefits of hiking your own hike? Question mark.
Well, PCT. It depends. I feel like if you don't have a timeline, it's worth it.
Like the time constraint. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like on the AT, I was like, had a time constraint, and so I couldn't really compromise, like, also the, like, tramlee that I did meet, they wanted to go even faster, and I was like, what the heck?
That's a hard feeling when you're like the slow one in the group, and yeah, you have to like speed up. I mean, it could be motivating too, but it's like you're like chasing after them, and it's
Yeah.
like,
Um, I feel like the second tramlee, which was it was kind of we joked because like my friend had like a AT bingo so he was a triple crowner as well. Shout out to Mowgli. There's like a million Mowglis, but um this was his triple crowner, and he had like a AT bingo card like sticker on his water bottle, and one of them was he had a trail family, and he was like, I never had a trail family before. But then we ended up hiking together. Like we met in New Jersey, and then we ended up hiking to like Vermont, and we met up with this other guy. And so we were like, "Hey, can you finally check off your bingo card?" And he was like, "Yeah, I think so." So he checked it off. So that was nice. But I think with us, like we had all through hiked before, and so we had an understanding, like, oh, if we want to do the different things, then we can kind of go our own way, and so it's kind of like not that stressful.
yeah. I think most of the tramlers that I spoke to said the same thing. Like they were together, but they're also like we all agree that if we want to go our own way, that we're gonna. But I guess that's like that's always true because like you could just say bye and like hike out and just do your own thing. But like I guess some tramlers are more committed than others,
When
for
I had
sure.
the tramily of two, which duh, because it's only two of us, but like that was so serious, and it like
Yeah.
was too serious. Like on the CDT and PCT, like we had multiple evolutions of our tramily, and so that worked really well. Like people would come and go, like um, people would just like come and go, and that was cool. But then when it's like only two people, it's like you can't really do that because there's only two of us, and so it was kind of a big deal to like split up.
Right. Because then you're both on your own. So it's like you kind of want them to like maybe find a new tramily before you leave or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's I mean, we hiked together for like a few hundred miles, I think, right? It was like on and off. Um, but yeah, it was like we hiked for a while because I think we started at it had to be before mile 1800. It was like not Sassafras, Stratton Mountain, I think.
Yeah.
And then that was like, and then I think we split up after, like right before Wildcat,
Yep.
like the Wildcats, which was an insane mountain, by the way.
I know.
That I
If I
got
didn't
really
have
hurt there. That
if I
was
didn't have
nuts.
my stupid deadline, then I would have like been chilling and we could have hung out, but I had
Yeah.
a stupid deadline. Tramlines, I think worth it as long as you're not like I was like I want to finish the AT, I want to finish the Triple Crown, so I was like kind of on a mission, and I was like I don't really want to compromise my like thing, but
Yeah, and that's totally like fair. Like you have to focus I think everyone should just focus on their own mission because everyone's got a
glad it
mission.
works out.
Yeah.
That's
And
kind of what I think. I think if you
you kind of have to be a little bit selfish, realistically.
yep.
It's hard not to because if you aren't, then it's like, what do you do? You're hiking someone else's hike, and that if
That's
that's not
why,
fun for you, then you shouldn't do it. Period.
and I feel like that's what I was doing for like the beginning of the AT.
Yeah, but you kind of had to because like you would have just gone so fast. Like all the people around you would have been going slower. So like you kind of had to like give them a little bit of like, all right, I'll like slow down for you and like
No, but no, I was hiking with my friend that wanted to hike even faster than me,
Oh,
and we kind of like bonded because like we had hiked the PCT, like we had both hiked the PCT before, and so we bonded because we're like, oh, we're kind of the same pace, we want to be done at the same time. But he wanted to hike even faster than me, and I was like, oh, look, I wasn't expecting that, and like,
You know what's crazy about hiking fast? It's not really about hiking fast. It's about like hiking more hours out of the day than everyone else. That's the thing that people don't
Oh yeah,
realize. Like,
I hike slow.
yeah, you're slow, but well, actually, you're like decently fast,
Yeah.
even with how slow you go. But you're like very consistent. Like you just keep going, and you go for like all like longer hours, and that's how you get bigger miles. Like that is what that's the best way to do it too, because like you're not gonna be as burnt out. Because if you're going, I was like going fast sometimes, and then I would like just be in pain. I'm like, why am I going so fast? Like, I have the rest of the day to still hike out, and I'm like, I'm burning out like early on. Like it was just dumb. Like I should have just been chilling, going slow, just moseying down the trail. That would have been the way to stay fast is just hike more hours. But that's easier said than done because like then you also have to hike more hours and like either you're gonna get up early or you're gonna stay up late. Like that's or both, I guess, if you're a Jupiter.
Yeah.
Oh, advice for solo female hikers to stay safe on the trail.
Mm.
Don't sleep in a shelter alone.
I didn't have any creepy dudes, which I feel like is good. I feel like
That's kind of rare. I feel like that's kind of rare for the AT. That's not what I heard from other people. But
I feel like no. I feel like that's what I was most scared of. Was creepy dudes.
and what about like none of that? Like, cause sometimes you'll run into like day hikers or like normies or just tourist type people or like non through hiker. I mean, when it's a creepy through hiker, that's like really bad because then you're like not you can't get away from them. But
Yeah.
like if it's like a day hiker, I feel like that's usually when that stuff happens. Cause like if a dude is being super creepy or weird, like people hear about it and then they stay away from him or like they get everyone's like avoiding that person and like it kind of like filters out a little bit, I guess, maybe, hopefully.
Mm, yeah, I feel like luckily. Well, I feel like one, don't let the hype scare you. Like,
I remember one creepy lady that followed us. I forgot. I don't want to say her name cuz but you know who I'm talking about.
yeah.
That was really weird. Wasn't that like kind of bizarre? Like I didn't know what was going on.
That was weird.
And like maybe it was just like a totally innocent person that's just trying to be nice or like friendly but it was like it felt like we were being followed or something and it felt like they were skipping sections and
How did we end up here already? But I didn't see after. I feel like after the place before Musalak,
after Hiker's Welcome I don't think I saw her again.
yeah.
uh that as you say that light behind you just like turned on. It's just like, do you see that light in
Creepy lady.
yeah.
Um,
Oh man.
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of hype, and I was fortunate, and I didn't really have any creepy people. But I guess just
Like hitchhiking alone must be kind of creepy as like a woman by herself, but also easier because you get more responses, more pickups, more
I only
people.
did it a couple times, and I only well, one time it was like a like a park service person, and I was like, it was a dude, but I was like, am I in trouble? And he was like, no, do you want to ride? And I'm like, yes, please. But the other times were all women, so that was nice. So I was like, hey there, you're watching out. I guess just like if you get creepy vibes, like trust your instinct and
Yeah,
try and move out of there. But also don't get too like sketched out about the hype. Like there's gonna be creepy dudes everywhere.
I feel like there's more sketchy vibes early in Georgia. You know what I mean?
Yeah, probably. Yep.
Like there's more people that are mentally ill, I would say, cuz like they're I don't know, like they come out on the AT and they like think it's something else or whatever. Like there's just like all sorts of stuff in Georgia, I feel like, and then you like never see it again.
Yeah.
And it's just yeah, but I didn't have any like I didn't witness anyone fighting or any sketchy. I would say at trail days it was a little like hectic. Like there was a lot going on and it was like pretty wild. But it wasn't like I didn't see any like fights or brawls or any of that. But it was just I don't know. It was very lively and very I don't know what the right word is. I guess primal. I don't know. It was just it was
No, trail days was less crazy than I thought it would be.
yeah. Really?
Hmm.
Wait, you were also at Trail Days. I don't think I saw you there. There were so many people there.
I thought it would be like chaos, but it was more chill
The woods were
moments.
pretty crazy. I don't know if you walked in the woods that
I
night.
did go in the woods.
It was like active. It was
I
just
couldn't
a
get
lot of
out of the
partying.
woods because there was like so many paths,
I got
and I
lost in the woods
my,
a few
my
times.
flip flop broke and
Oh, the mud in the woods was like
the mud was so bad.
it was sketchy. Like I didn't know because there's so many people there that I don't know. It's like I feel like everything's a little dirtier, a little noro-y, you know. And there were so many porta potty. Like once the porta potty started to like fill up to the seat, I was like, all right, I'm done here. Like
That's
I'm
enough.
good, yeah. And then I left like on Saturday, so and I was there like Thursday, early Thursday. So it was they were like just setting up Tent City. I was there pretty early. Um, it was fun. I would do it again, but not. I don't want to sleep in Tent City again. That was I couldn't do that. I needed like a hotel. That would have been nice because then you could just like disappear, hang out at the hotel, and then like come back when you're like feeling the vibes. But there was so much walking.
Here,
What?
there was nowhere to disappear. It was so
Uh,
rainy last year.
I did kind of disappear. So like the second night, I think it was Friday night, I couldn't sleep because there was like everyone had set up around my tent and it was way too loud. So I actually packed up and just like went on the AT and just like set up my tent and went to sleep. So I kind of got away, but that was like it was like a long hike. It was like maybe a quarter mile up the trail or like I think I took the creeper trail and then I went to the AT going Nobo and then I just like passed out somewhere. And I slept great. So it worked, but yeah, it was interesting. And then like also I feel like I wouldn't want to hike out after that because then you'd have so many crowds on the trail. Everyone's hiking out from trail days at the same time. But
Yeah, it was like 40 miles ahead of Damascus.
I was in
So that was
Pearisburg.
cool.
Yeah.
That is like there.
Yeah.
I didn't have issues.
Nice. All right, so we're almost done with this list. Oh, I think this is the last question. Okay. What was your nearest to death experience during the entire Triple Crown? If you want to talk about it.
Probably crossing some rivers on the PCT. On like in the Sierra, because it was like a record snow year.
Were you like alone or with other people?
No, I was with my boyfriend, and then we had a trail family. There's like four of us total, but there's definitely some scary rivers.
Mm-hmm.
I was happy I wasn't alone.
Yeah, like two girls died last year, right?
um,
And then they froze.
I
Ooh.
don't know about last year. I know
That's what I.
2017.
Oh,
I'm
2017.
surprised about.
That I heard. I heard that definitely. I think it was last year, so that would be 2023, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think one of them tried to cross and then she got stuck, and then the other one tried to like save her, and then they both got like carried away by the currents. Yeah, the PCT is it's kind of scary. Oh yeah, I don't know how I missed this question, but why? So you mentioned to me that you wanted to do the PCT again. Why the PCT? So is the PCT like the best one, like secretly on the
I
low?
feel like I want to do them all again.
Yeah. Well, don't we all? But you're like, I want to do the PCT first. So I'm curious why.
Um, besides like the weather situation, like either too high of snow or like wildfires, I feel like it's like the perfect trail. Like the trail itself is beautiful.
I hear it's well graded.
Yes. And also I just like romanticize it. I feel like this was my first trip.
So would you go Sobo since you already did Nobo?
If I were to hike again, I'd probably be a no-go again, but I might do like some either Washington or some of Washington next year. So we're just gonna like section hike that.
Nice.
Probably if I through hiked again, I would go no-go.
Cool. Because that's the goal for me, but I still haven't gotten my permit yet. It's really a pain in the butt to get the permit.
It is in, but
I
I got
there
mine in January.
I saw 2 dates free. Like I log in every day, by the way. There were 2 dates that were like unlocked. And it said instead
Yeah.
of saying 35, it said 34, and I was like, but they were like
Yeah.
super annoying dates. They were like in I think March, like early March. So I'm not doing that. That's too early. I don't want to get snowed on, I guess.
I'd go early rather than late.
But if you go late, then you get less snow in the Sierra, right? But then you have to go fast.
Yeah, I'd rather go
And it's
early.
also hotter in the desert. That's the big
Yep.
problem.
Like I feel like our mind mentality was like, oh, we don't want too much snow. Like let's take our time. But then turned out we were like at the worst time in the Sierra because it was like peak melt.
Mm.
um, I feel like earlier is better, and then like the wildfires and stuff. Like
Yeah, I feel like
before you
for
can like,
for wildfires, Sobo's better, right?
mm, I
For
think
some reason.
Novo because you like the wildfires don't start like later in the season so as much as I mean it's kind of a crapshoot, but like I feel like if you start early and like get as much done as you can before wildfire season starts.
I'm already like mentally prepared to not that it's not going to be a continuous footpath because like
Yeah.
it probably won't, and I would not want to like hike through some really stupid smoke that would like mess up my lungs and then get burnt by fires. That would be bad. Um, so yeah, well that's all the questions that I have. Did you have any questions for me about my through hike or my upcoming through hike of the PCT?
Ooh. Um, how was your like end of the AT, I guess?
Um, so when you say end, are you saying like the last like 200 miles or
I guess
like
like
I
Vermont.
guess after we split up, like
Yeah.
okay, so I'll tell you how it went. I took a zero. So I actually went to Gorham, then took a day off and like a Nero, then came back, and then I was hiking up the Wildcats, and I slipped and like fell, like a big boulder like hit my chest, like because I like fell forward. It was so I didn't fall back at least, which was good, but I fell forward, and then I got like a big cut in my leg. It was like really bleeding a lot, but it was fine. Like I was able to hike out, and I just like duct taped it. And it was fine, but yeah, that was kind of painful, and that sucked. So then I went back to Gorham again at the next road because you could like go there twice.
Yeah.
And then I took another day off. Got new trekking poles because I was done with the ones that I've been using up until then. I feel like that's part of why I fell too. Um, and yeah, I sent some stuff home and then just kept hiking. My friend, I don't know if you know, my friend visited me on the trail. That was really sweet. Like he got to do the most awesome parts of the AT in like 3 days. He hiked up to Goose Eye Mountain. I don't know if you remember it.
Yep.
Did you go out? You went to the view of Goose
I
Eye?
did go to the view. That was
Oh
like right
man.
by where I fell in the bog.
Yeah, that there was so many bugs there. Oh my god, it was a tough section. So imagine like he doesn't have trail legs and he's hiking up there and then
Yeah.
so then we hiked for a few days. We did Mahoosuc Notch together and that's where I felt that pain from the rib thing cuz I feel like when you're climbing in these awkward angles, you're like stretching your like rib cage and torso and all these like you're putting forces on your body that are like really weird and the backpack was heavy too. And it just like started like it was like bruised. It was kind of like just really hurting, and I was like, "This sucks." Like, but I mean, it was fun. It was just really painful to do Mahoosuc Notch. So it was nice that he was there, and honestly, Mahoosuc Notch was fun. I mean, we did it on like a dry day. It was pretty warm out. It felt like a not a jungle, but I don't know what the right word is. Like just like a playground, I guess. It was just fun. And then you go up that 90-degree wall. Do you remember like right after Mahoosuc Notch, there was like that climb
Yeah.
up?
Yep.
That was insane. I'm like,
The
what
arms.
the fuck? Imagine like him doing that. Like we'd already done this kind of stuff like in the whites
Yeah.
and whatever.
It was crazy.
But for him, oh my god, that was so hard. But it was also like it felt nice to get to. I felt like I ran up. Like at a certain point, I started just running because it was like wet and slippery, and I felt like if I went slow, then I would like slip. But if I like kind of just like flew through it, it somehow like got me up there. It was weird. Um, but yeah, it was fun. And then yeah, it was the rest of the trail was pretty good.
We went whitewater rafting.
I went white. That was definitely like the highlight towards the end. I think that was really cool. But then, like, here's the thing: it was fun. But then I summited alone the next day because everyone summited that day, and I couldn't. It would be insane to like also summit with them. You know, I just had to take a day off after that. I was like completely exhausted. But so that was like a slight regret that I didn't. I summited alone pretty much. Like, but it was cool. I still ran into people I knew. So there were like three other hikers that I knew all throughout the trail that just happened to be there the same day. So that was like kind of nice, but we weren't like close or anything. I feel like the bubble that I was with, they all summited the day before, so whatever. But at least I got more time at Katahdin to like chill there and like it wasn't too crowded. And then like after the weather cleared, everyone showed up, like all the day hikers and shit. And we're like, all right, it's a wrap, folks. We're going home. Like, yeah. But yeah, it was just good stuff. I feel like overall though, I liked the beginning. Like for me, mile 0 to like 700, maybe even a little earlier, was like the highlights of the trail because it's just such a like it's so like romanticized. You're just like oh like I'm on trail like this we're just chilling like everything's all good. You're not like exhausted yet, you know, like long term exhaustion type stuff, like
Yeah.
towards the end of a through hike. So yeah, I really enjoyed the beginning for sure, and I feel like the people just have like a better vibe to them, like the ones that I met at least. Because like towards the end, I felt like people were a little bit more like abrasive and just I don't know,
Over
just like everyone's like ready to be done and.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely different than what it's so weird. Like it's so different than what you expect going in, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just different. Like overall, like doing a through hike, it's different than what you thought. Different what I thought it would be for sure.
Yeah, I feel like that's how the PCT is for me, at least. Like the first 700 miles were like so. Because it's the beginning and no one's in a rush and we're just like, having fun, and then after that, it's like more of a grind.
Yeah, oh yeah, it becomes a grind. I think even like after the halfway point, I guess. Shenandoah's felt like a grind to me. I did like 36 miles the first day into the shanties,
Well,
and then I was dead. And because me and Muffin Man, we like stayed up till really late. We hiked like
yeah.
basically till 1 a.m. Or no, it was like 2 a.m. because we camped at this campground. Oh, that was not worth it. That was not worth it. But we did get McDonald's. So did I tell you that we hitchhiked out of the Shenandoahs and then back in? Which you're not supposed to
I don't
do.
think so.
There is I think it's called Elkton or something. There's like a
Yeah, it's right
town.
there.
You did go there?
That's where me and my friends split.
Oh, interesting. So
Like,
how did you get to Elkton?
that's the thing is we were trying to hitchhike, and I was like, I don't. He, or I was like, I don't think we're supposed to hitchhike here, and then it was this whole thing.
It was like right by the Shenandoah's entrance, right?
Yep.
Yeah, cause we almost had to like pay to get back in. Cause once you leave, you have to pay for it again. But thankfully, the hitchhike that picked us up, they were going to the park anyway, so they had passes. So we just snuck in with them, and it was fine. And the rangers are really cool. Like they told us, they're like, no, you guys can't walk in. If you walk in, you have to like pay. But if you go with them, then it's technically like you're with their pass or whatever. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I almost wanted to like start arguing with the ranger, and Muffin Man was like, dude, just he's being chill. He's being real chill with us. Just listen to him. We're good. Like, relax. Because I was like ready to start yelling at these guys. Like, I don't know. It was just funny. But yeah, we got McDonald's, and that's where I lost my trekking poles. So Elkton was interesting for sure. Yeah, it was good times. Good 5 months of my life for sure. Definitely worth it. So, are we gonna see you on the PCT in 2025 or 6 or 7?
Nah, but I might do like Washington next summer, or like some Washington next summer. Maybe I'll see you.
Yeah, maybe. I do have some family near Washington, so I might run into them. So yeah, I'm definitely hyped. It's gonna be lit. Do I have to carry a bear canister the whole time? I hope not.
Just this year, just like leave it around.
Yes umbrella or no umbrella?
I didn't have an umbrella.
But you had like a cowboy hat, like the booty hat, right?
I had like a wide brim hat, but it was kind of annoying. I got rid of it. I like the baseball cap better. Umbrella, maybe, but it's so windy that I feel like would be annoying.
Right, but also like sometimes you just need shade from the sun, like just to take a break for lunch, and it's so exposed out there. I don't know. But yeah, I guess the wind is definitely a thing. I'm definitely taking an umbrella on the. If I go on the Florida Trail, I'm taking an umbrella because it's exposed as fuck, and it rains, and yeah, I want an umbrella. Like imagine you're walking through the swamp, you can't even like stop because it's all wet, like everywhere. Like there's little islands where you camp, and that's it. Like the big cypress wilderness is really, like I'm looking more and more into it, and it's really hard. It's like some of the hardest hiking in the country. So, and I hope the water is not too cold because then my feet will be cold. Yeah. Yep. Coolio.
Keep me posted. I'm excited for you.
Yeah. Me too. Hopefully I do it. Cause I need to get some hiking done. I'm just losing my mind here in Chicago and need to hike it out. So. All right, skis. Thank you for coming on, Liz, Chuckles. Yeah, it was good times, and congrats on your Triple Crown. Yeah.
See you around.
See you around.
Happy trails.
Bullfrog Hikes, sign it out.